Hello everyone. So today I wanted to make a video on how to create the world to be best for all. And this is actually my first video, probably my first public video ever. Um, and when we ask ourselves this question of how to create the world to be best for all, there's the part of how do you know that something is best for all? So I was hesitating before making this video because I was thinking, oh, maybe we cannot define with clarity and certainty what is best for all. But I think that we can agree on some specific aspects that are best for all, which is that everybody on this planet, every human being, needs to have food and to have clean water and to have access to good education to sustain themselves and their families in this life, and to at least have their basic needs met. And no two people could argue that someone doesn't need this. And the way to create a world to be best for all is that each person takes responsibility to become the best version of themselves. Like, imagine that each person do whatever they need to do to go from survival mode into freedom, and where they expand really to better and better versions of themselves each day. And while they expand, they become more able to take more responsibility and to help the ones around them to do the same thing. So for example, even if someone doesn't find the food to eat daily, they're not sure that they can find that food, they can, for example, reach out to someone who can support them to, at least for example, like having a job or getting a new skill that will allow them to sell something, sell their services, or sell something, so that they can live from it instead of consume whatever money or food they still have on hand. So that's that in this situation. And for someone who, probably like me, before starting this process, the process of the IP and working on myself, investigating what I do really want in this life and what are my goals, what is my purpose, and like free myself from layers of limitations that I was accepting. And I'm still doing this process. I'm going really deep and using TechnoTutor and DIP. So a person like myself, before and in the beginning of this process, I realized that most people, even if they have food and they have money to eat for, I don't know, maybe a decade or more than that, and they have a job and they have skills if they want to go to work, and like they still are living in survival mode. They still are programmed, because we're deeply programmed to be like in that rat race where everyone is trying to ensure they have that money to get that thing, and they have to buy, like at each stage they can, like, we imagine that when we have that type of salary or revenue or income, then we'll be free, we'll be feeling like financial freedom. But it's never the case. Like, people always think about what's the next step, like how they can ensure that they have money for the rest of their lives, how they can ensure that if something happens to them, they can take care of their health. They'll have the money to go to the best doctors and go to like have the best health care. And then how they can ensure that if they're in a couple, they have partners or they have kids, how they can ensure that for their partners and their kids for the rest of their lives, and how they can then give their kids good education, good food. Like even in the like most people don't find it easy even to like if you even if they can get food and eat every day, they maybe cannot or think they cannot afford organic food. So that's another layer. So you see that each time there's one more layer, like making you want to have more money or more security regarding the ways how money could come to you afterwards and how you can make money. So we tend to be stressed in our lives throughout. Even if you have a good job with a very good salary, etc., you still are afraid of being fired, and then you might lose your relationships, you might lose your value, you might lose something within you that makes sure that you have your needs met. And it comes down, like usually the deepest fears are around just being healthy, just having good health and eating food and having a partner or having sex. So it all deep down comes to these basic needs, but we tend to like come to a point where we have suppressed so much our fears and our stress and our anger and many other emotions to the point that we lose touch with them, and we don't know why we are so stressed even if we have our basic needs met today or this week or this year. But we all live in that survival mode of continuously chasing something outside to make us happy. And so within the context of how we can make the world to be best for all, how we can create the world to be best for all, the thing here is that each person should take responsibility on their level so that they could meet their basic needs, ensure their themselves and their family, their partners or their kids or the family they live with, to ensure that these people have their needs met, their basic needs met, and to free themselves of those fears. And the tools that we're using in the group, Self-Perfected, are really great tools to do this. If you want to free yourself from doubts and fears and limitations you're accepting, but you know deep down, deep inside of yourself, that these are all illusions, and you don't want to be spend the rest of your life enslaved by those fears of what you think other people will say, or whatever fears you're accepting to enslave yourself to. So there's the Destiny Light, Destiny Eye process, or you can search online Destiny Light, and you can join Self-Perfected to surround yourself with like-minded people who are taking more and more responsibility and changing themselves on every level, every area of their lives. And you can also get the TechnoTutor tool, through which you can reprogram yourself and understand your mind more, how your thoughts work, how your emotions work, and understand more about your limitations and your goal as well. Your goals, to have clarity on your purpose, and to see how you can expand and to actually reprogram yourself to be that person, that new version of yourself that free themselves of those limitations, and that know with more clarity and with more certainty like the path where they want to go. So each person can take more responsibility and then empower other people, support other people, surrounding them to do the same thing. And then with the power of multiplication, eventually we'll reach a point where most people on this planet will have their basic needs met, and they'll have access to good education, and they'll have access to like financial freedom and all the things that each one of us desire in this life. So this was my video on how to create the world to be best for all. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.